this episode of Purposely Curious, we sit down with one of the most talented hairstylists, Savannah Ford from Gold Dust Studio. We discuss her rise from adversity to the success that she is now. We delve into real issues and how she overcame these hurdles in her life to become a badass chick. Get nice and cozy as she colors my hair copper red as this episode starts now. Hello everyone, and I wanted to introduce you to Savannah Ford. She is my hairstylist at, Gold Dust Studio here in the South Bay area. As you guys all know, when we get our hair done, right, we divulge information to our hairstylist and vice versa. And so I got to know a lot of her story, and I thought it would be one to talk about because where she is now, there was a journey for her to get here. And so she's one of the most awesome people I've ever met. And so I want to welcome you to my little show.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me. And honestly, I am so glad that I'm such an oversharer. That way you got to know me, and hear about all my, this crazy adventure that I've been on, and it only seems like it's been a couple of years, but it's just been a long journey to get to where I have been. So thank you for having me.
Yes, and you're very successul, and I think you're growing in your field with a huge following. And so, just to hear what you've been through, I'm sure I don't know that you imagined you would be here.
I never imagined I would be here. I still thought that I'd be working, in a grocery store on government assistance. I mean, honestly, I thought that was going to be the rest of my life. And so it feels amazing to just have something for me, not be on any government assistance, and just live this life that I never thought I would, have.
Yeah. And you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm so thankful. I feel like it has a lot to do with the drive that was built into me as a young child, just to hustle. I've done that, and I have a feeling like that has a lot to do with, where I am and how the hard work, to get me here. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And so do you want to share with us how you got here?
Yeah.
Wherever you want to start.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So pretty much, when I was in high school, I just was like this little punk rocker, and I was just like, what job can I have to look like a freak, be all tattooed, colored hair, and actually make money? And it was really not I don't have a story about when I was 5 years old, I was playing with Barbie dolls and cutting their hair and coloring it with marker. I don't have that kind of story. It literally was just I want to look like a freak. How can I make a decent living, looking like this? So it had nothing to do with passion. And then I got a job at this really cute rockabilly salon in the South Bay, and I feel like seeing the hairdressers there, and they were all fun and tattooed, and I was like, damn, they're making good money. I'm like, okay, this is something that I'd be really interested in. So I started going to beauty school at Skrock while I was in high school. So I, do half day at school, and then I drive over to Skrock and do my hours there. And then I was supposed to graduate from cosmetology that summer after we graduated from high school, and this is back in 2005. And I didn't end up graduating because I ended up, unfortunately, dating guys that weren't good, which led to me becoming a drug addict, and it wasn't fun, and it was just it put my whole life on hold. And I'm lucky that it didn't take too much of my life. I maybe was running amok for a couple years. That's when I met my husband now. But
how old were you?
So this was literally, I started getting really bad into drugs right after I graduated high school. It was literally right after. I wasn't doing anything bad in high school. I was pretty an okay student, It was after high school is when I started to get all crazy and wild with my life. And so I ended up getting pregnant, and I actually found out I was pregnant while I was in rehab. So I mean, and then my son was born in um, '07. So literally, it was like very short lived, but crazy. Those 2 years were just crazy, right?
Right.
And being, a young 19-year-old with a child that was just straight out of rehab, it was just like, what do I do with my life? Like, I just went from like not knowing what I was going to do, or like if I was going to live, the next day, to having a child. So I didn't go back to beauty school right away. I was just like working, jobs. Finally, I was working, an office job. I had my second child by that time, and this was when the economy was going down and people were getting, fired left and right. And I ended up getting let go from my office job that I was making pretty good money at. I was devastated because I had just had my daughter, and I was like, what am I going to do? I felt like my life was ending, but really it was just beginning, because I was able to go back to school, cosmetology school, while I was laid off. So I feel like at that time I was so devastated, right? I was like, because I've always been pretty much, the one that was like, okay, I have to work. Like, I have to make it for my family. And then to just be laid off my very first time in my life, I was like, what do I do now? But it was all good because I went back to school, and I got I graduated beauty school and took my cosmetology test, and then I was licensed. But I still wasn't fully taking my career to the next level. I was scared. There was something in me that was telling me I was not good enough. And I really feel like it has a lot to do with just my insecurities in me, and it took me a long time to get over these insecurities,
Now, do you feel those insecurities were from your drug use, or was it prior to that, from like your childhood?
Oh, it was before then, because like even before I got into punk rock and stuff, I was a cheerleader, and I was like, I had an eating disorder 100%.
Oh, really?
I did. I was like, there was a time where and even when I look back at pictures in high school, like we all do, we're like, oh, I wish I was that skinny when I was saying I was that fat, right? Like people always say that. But like when I look at pictures of myself then, I'm like, dude, I was like banging. Why was I even trying to like have an eating disorder? Like, but I feel like, we're always just the media and how it makes us feel like we need to be this, we need to be that. And I'm a Latina girl, and I was raised in Redondo Beach. And even though like it wasn't like super diverse, like I felt like I needed to be like this like skinny little white girl. Honestly, I felt like I needed to be that. So that I feel like that's where that eating disorder came from. And so, and then it's like I've dealt with that kind of insecureness since then, and maybe even before then, who knows, but that is exactly that's like a point in my life where I'm like, no, like I for sure had an eating disorder at that point. So and like weight has just been a struggle for me, going from eating disorder to like, okay, punk rocker, where I'm just like not caring about like my body. I'm like drinking and smoking and, just doing whatever. And then to being a drug addict, to being like 90 pounds, to then being pregnant, and then like never losing that way. And then like having another child a couple years later.
Yeah.
My body, I've put it through so much, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just my poor little body, like but it's done me good, for the time being. But yeah.
So when you were doing drugs, did you lose a lot of weight?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, at that point in my life, I was never big, I was like, okay, but once you do drugs and like that is your main focus, you're not taking care of yourself. So I dropped a lot of weight. And I remember people like that have known me my whole life, they would look at me and they'd be like, what's happened to you? And at your frame of mind when you are on drugs, you're thinking you're hot shit. You're thinking what are they talking about? Like, I look good and stuff. But when I
Mm-hmm.
look at pictures, I don't. I look crazy. I look like insane. Like, you see the craziness in your eyes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I did.
And then, so you then got pregnant and you just got out of rehab. And so
Yeah.
to you, that was, you were like, I need to get my shit straight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was obviously, I was one of those lucky ones because I know a lot of people can't say that, their kids saved their life because they go back to doing the same old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I was like, no, I am turning my life around. I have this child I'm responsible for, and I can't even think about doing stuff like that. So, yeah, my son was my number one, and I was doing everything, for him to provide for him and be a good example to him. He was my main focus,
Yeah.
which, it all happened for a reason. Me not like, finishing beauty school at that point. That wasn't my time to do it. That was my time to really get my life back on track.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And so now you're sober, you're pregnant, and you had prior to that had
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight. So
Yeah.
now you're eating.
A lot. And can I tell you, I like blame it. I tell myself, I'm like, I know why I got so fat because literally like when I was pregnant with my first, I gained like 85 pounds.
Oh.
I gained like almost a whole freaking person, So like, yeah. And then like, I didn't lose it. I didn't lose all of it. I barely lost any of it. And so, that going and then being stressed with work and not taking care of myself, not eating the way I'm supposed to be, not exercising, all that on top of getting sober, it's just, I want to say it just throws your metabolism through hoops and loops,
I bet. Yeah.
So it's been a struggle to really like to get my body completely healthy, and so I feel like about 5 years ago, I only know it's 5 years ago because I see Facebook like on this day, the memories, and it says 5 years, and I'm like, it was when I dedicated my whole being to losing weight, like losing that baby weight from not only one child, but another child, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 5 foot. I'm like, and I got up to like, 230 pounds, which for someone who's 5 foot, it's not healthy, right? So, I was looking at that memory 5 years ago and I was just thinking, gosh, like back then I didn't do it right either. Like, yeah, I was working out, but I was literally starving myself. Like, and it just like, I'm finally like, I'm finally feeling that I am finally good to my body. I exercise, I'm eating right, and I just finally feel good. Like I'm finally like, okay, I got this down. I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so what made you go through the surgery?
Oh yeah. So pretty much what happened was, I recently in December I had weight loss surgery. I specifically had a VSG, which is a gastric sleeve, and what that is they cut about 80% of your stomach out. Therefore, it reduces your food intake, pretty much forcing you to portion control. People might say that this is like an easy way out, and I am here to tell you it is not. It's definitely work. It's just, it's a lifestyle change, just like if you were to exercise and portion out your food and meal prep, it's just as much work. But yeah, I decided to get this surgery because of my health, of the up and down weight for so many years. Mm-hmm. This last time, it almost felt impossible to lose weight. I was doing everything that I knew I was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I was working out. I was eating right. I was doing everything, but I was not losing weight. And it almost was affecting everything in my life.
It made you feel bad. You're like, I'm doing, what else can I do?
Yeah. It made me feel awful. And it made me just, just kind of like at a point where like, what am I to do? I'm obese right now. I am like, working 10-hour days. I'm on my feet. I get home. I want to cry because my body is in pain, aching. And finally, I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I had a friend that went and got the surgery, and she looked great. She felt good. She told me it was the best thing that she's ever done in her life. And I said, you know what? I want to feel like that too. So, and that's what made me want to proceed with that, with the surgery. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to mention for those people who might think that it's an easy way out, and to what she's saying is it is a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Because basically when they do the surgery, our stomach is a smooth muscle.
Yeah.
Which are like stretchy pants. So even, I don't know, do you remember that singer who had the surgery like twice and still, I want to say she was from the Carpenters.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she had the surgery publicly and gained the weight back.
Yes.
And so what you're going to is that it's a lifestyle change because our stomach is a smooth muscle. It stretches.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like this is just to bring you to a level that you're ready to, and then you have to maintain it.
Absolutely.
And so it is not the easy way.
It's not. It ends up being a waste of money if you go back to your old eating habits, and because yes, your stomach will stretch back out, and you only have two options. You can get the gastric sleeve, which I did, and then God forbid you regain, you have one other option, and that's to get the full bypass. After the bypass, you're out of options. And I definitely I just think that it's like a one and done thing. You do this, you make sure that you're, doing everything you're supposed to be doing. Obviously, you can't go back to eating, with the bad habits.
Yeah.
You have to stick to clean eating and of course exercising, so.
And so at your heaviest, how heavy were you?
I want to say at my heaviest, okay, probably my heaviest was maybe 242, maybe. This was probably after I had my daughter or something, but before I had the surgery, I was 232. That was my heaviest. And then I had to do a pre-op diet, which consisted of just green vegetables. I would think I was allowed 4 ounces of some kind of lean protein and just water. And that even though my diet changed drastically during those 2 weeks that I was doing the pre-op, I only lost 6 pounds, which is insane. I was barely eating anything, and yet I still so there was obviously I feel like there was something wrong with my body at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know, metabolism or something, but
yeah.
So yeah, I was about 232 at my heaviest, most recent. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had the surgery in January or December?
Beginning of December.
You look great.
Oh, thank you.
You've lost a lot of weight.
I have, yeah.
And I always thought you were confident before that.
Yes.
But now when I'm looking at your Instagram, stories, your pictures, you exude. I mean, it's just, you are so confident, and I love that.
Yes.
You got that swag.
Yes.
Going.
And that is the best thing about it, is that I've always been confident. I've always felt beautiful, whether I was at my heaviest or whether I was at my thinnest, right? I've always loved myself. That there's no doubt about that. But the thing is with me is I felt just gross. I felt it was so hard on my legs. My husband would try to touch my legs and stuff, and I'd be like, ugh, because I was just these legs carrying up that weight, it was just, they were always in pain. I was always feeling like I was in pain, and it made me feel just bad. So therefore, when you feel bad, there'd be times where I would put in no effort into the way I looked, because I was just I don't freaking care. That's what happened. I was starting to not care about anything. And that's not the way I am. Like, I like to, put makeup on. I like to get in cute outfits. But now I have the energy. I feel great. And I'm like, oh, like, I see stuff that I like, and I don't have to worry about not having my size because I'm actually like,
Yeah.
it's easy. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I grab a medium, I grab a small. Like, a dress I was wearing yesterday, it was on sale and I bought it and it was a small, and I was like, whatever, I'll like maybe be able to fit into it one day. I squeezed my ass into it and I was like, it wasn't even that bad. I was like, oh my God, I fit into a small, like, which is crazy because I was in like a XXL at one point. And so, the amount of weight I've dropped is astronomical. I mean, since I've had the surgery in December 8th, till now, I'm down a little over 75 pounds. I haven't weighed myself in about a week or so because I try to only do it once a week.
Less anxiety for you. Yeah,
exactly. I'm like not trying to like be a slave to the scale, right? Like, I'm just like once a week, and that way I can see my progress, you know? But because that obsession with the scale can really be detrimental, you know, to your progress. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And then, so how do your legs feel now with that, less weight?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, I'm going to be so honest. Like, I was so lazy. I would, I'd get home from work and I'd treat like my family like my slaves. Like, honestly, I would be like, I'd go home, sit my ass on the couch, bury my head in my phone, and just like be like, oh, babe, can you serve me dinner? Oh, kids, can you grab me something to drink? And now I realize that, and that's awful, like, and now like I'm actually being a functioning mother, adult, like actually getting myself something, cooking, offering to help cook, offering to like, not driving. I live like literally a block from Vaughn's, and like I drive my car to go get something from the grocery store, and now like I take my ass and I walk there, and it's just like having that energy to just do those things. I like barely even drove while we were in quarantine. I was walking everywhere, even if it was miles away. I'd be like, you know what, that's going to be my outing for the day. So I would never be able to do that before. I was just always so exhausted.
Yeah. So the surgery has kind of given you a different perspective now.
Oh, yeah.
Was always there.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's just helped me like just really like kick it into gear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I want to touch a little bit on your career.
Yeah.
And so obviously you went to school.
Yes.
You now had this life-changing experience. You have your kids, you're sober.
Yeah.
And so now, you probably were working for someone when you started.
Yeah. I was like literally, I was in and out of salons because it was like, okay, here I am, a mom, 2 kids. I was assisting, which, as we all know, assistant is like an apprentice and you don't really make that much money. And so I was torn between my stable paying job, a paycheck that I knew like I can, rely on, to working as an assistant. And, if the stylist wasn't busy, I really wasn't making money. So it was very inconsistent. And it's not a wave. Like, I couldn't live off of it. Finally, after just bouncing from salon to stable job to salon to stable job, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my all into this. It's about time that I focus on my career. And we were, Chris and I, my husband, we were at a place where I could do that. I could take a pay cut and survive off of it. So, finally I did that, and I went from working at a salon with a bunch of friends that I've known for years to just venturing out on my own. And I took a job at another salon, and I will always be very thankful of the opportunities that this salon gave me, because they actually were like, they trusted to put me on the floor and start taking clients, which is something that I had not gotten to do. I was just assisting and not really doing anything on my own, which I feel like, was detrimental to my, growing, because I was thinking I I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't think I was good. Like, oh, people aren't giving me the chance to do hair. I must not be good. When that wasn't the case, it was just because I wasn't given a chance. So this woman, she gave me a chance, and I started to get confident in my work. And unfortunately, it didn't work out there because I just, you know, I was ready to, I think, move on.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a stubborn person. I just like can't work under anyone, you know? So that's when, and at the time, my best friend Carrie, she was working at the salon with me too. And we kind of like talked about it, and we were like, what about like getting our own place? Like, what do you think about that? And we were kind of thinking, well, we don't have savings. Like, how are we going to do this? And that's when we found out about the concept of Salon Republic, which, you know, gives us a feeling of being our own bosses in our own space, but affordable, you know,
Right.
none of the expenses that we would have having an actual storefront. And to be honest, I didn't want to be anyone's boss. I just wanted to be my own boss, you know? So that's how Gold Dust Studio flourished, and we opened up our first small, tiny studio at the Hermosa Beach location. We were there for about a year and a half. I barely had any clients. I mean, I literally had like one handful, but I was so determined to make it. I was like, you know what? Okay, if I at least just do like one color and a couple haircuts a week, I'll be able to make rent, you know? And, but then I didn't like, that wasn't just what I was manifesting. I was like, no, I want to do more. I want to make it. I want to make money, you know,
Yeah.
and I want to. So, yeah, I just hustled. I just started to, you know, really focus on my social media and making sure like everything was perfect. I'd spend hours on clients, hours and hours and hours, and free work just to get my work out there.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I mean, word of mouth is so powerful. I was getting new clients in my chair every week, new clients, referrals, this and that.
Yeah.
And then Yelp helped a lot too.
That's how I found you.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that was a great help. You know, but Yelp has its ups and its downs, right? You
Right.
know, you get, you know, anyone trying to like book an appointment, and there was some growth from that, you know, getting some bad seeds and traumatizing clients, you know, from there.
That's how we all learn.
Right, exactly. Totally. So, yeah, I mean, I just focused, and then my work started to get reposted by big companies, and I was like, what is this? Like, oh my gosh. And that was a rush in itself. That was like, oh my gosh, like people like my work. These big companies like my work. And so little by little, I started getting reposted, and it drove me to do even more projects and do this and that and the other. Before you know it, like I'm booked out weeks in advance, and, you know, I'm getting like sent free product from companies because they want me to try their stuff, and that's amazing. But I had one goal in mind at one point, and that was to work for Pulp Riot and be a part of their brand. And I'm so happy to say that I had my 1 year anniversary just maybe like last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, my 1 year anniversary working with the company, and that was just the day that I got invited to be a part of their company. Was like, seriously, I feel like all this hard work, all the time I've invested in creating these crazy color combinations and trying to, you know, just be, you know, out there and get my stuff noticed. It was so worth it.
Yeah. I mean, you're a genius, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Basically, when I found her on Yelp, I was looking for change, but I'm very picky with who cuts or touches my hair.
Yeah.
But I had not dyed or cut my hair in God knows like 3 years.
Yeah.
So we started our relationship, and then when I got comfortable with her, she cut I told her to chop it off.
Yes.
Which she did, and then, you know, she was so cool, and you're like my peeps. We have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
I decided I want to go copper.
Yeah.
And I've been copper, you know, with like red copper for
we kept
more
it.
than a year, 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have never, ever, ever gotten so much attention for my hair just being at the, I've told you this, being at the grocery store or me being at the hospital or me being here. Women love my hair. And I would always be like, oh, here's her number. I don't know how many actually called, but I've never. And that's just, our hair is basically your portfolio.
It totally is. And that makes me so happy.
Yes. And I used to be, when I was younger, I used to dye my hair blonde. I think I had shown you pictures and not once did anyone say your hair looked beautiful. And I mean, nothing bad about the person that did that.
Yeah, of course.
But just, I told you what I envisioned, and it's a color that I never thought I would. I'm very basic in a lot of ways. Yeah. I mean, I'm a hot mess, but now I have the courage to be like, I want to go this color. I want to do this. And so definitely you are, I think, a goddess when it comes to hair. And it's, now people are seeing your work and being like, wow, she knows what the fuck she's doing. Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling. But I mean, honestly, like your testimonial is like the most amazing just because like, when you started coming to me, you had super long hair and you're like, just a trim. And I was like, okay, because I never force my clients to do anything more than what they're comfortable with, Yeah. And I just love like our evolution of our relationship, with the hair. It's been amazing. And I'm so lucky for clients like you that really trust me because it really comes down to trust, know? So it's always been great. It's my favorite when I do something new and someone puts your trust in. And it's just like, Yeah. And how good is it to just get compliments from random strangers? Isn't that like, it's so amazing to get that? Like,
I get that a lot.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I definitely wanted to thank you for letting me interview you. I thought this just goes to show that we all go through hard times in our life.
Yes.
And sometimes we have to stop holding ourselves down. Exactly. Again, everyone's journey is different, but to see what you went through, to have lived so much at the age of 19. Sorry. So she's doing my hair right now. So what you guys just heard is a timer. So we're ending at a good time.
Perfect timing.
Get my hair washed.
Yeah.
But, is that you decided, I'm going to change, in our journeys. It might take longer for some of us than others, but, you're a testament of how you chose a different path.
Yep. And it just goes to show you just never give up. And you always if you focus on what you want in life, it's not cheesy to say like, if you manifest it, it will become, because honestly, like that manifestation is so, it's so true, and anyone can really do it, so you just got to put your mind to it and your heart and put everything into it and it will become.
Yes.
So,
and you are a living testament to
I'm a living testament.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks. That was episode 15 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and on most podcast platforms. And follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.